$7,000 for a leucistic cottonmouth. Dude, what are you doing? Stop looking at me like that. It's freaking me out.
Inside this container is the deadliest snake on the entire planet. What is up, humans? Today we are at the Columbia Repticon. It's one of the last reptile expos on the East Coast that actually sell venomous snakes. Most of them have stopped at this point, or they're located in states or cities where it's illegal. Plus, obviously, there are liability issues when it comes to things like that. But we're here looking at some venomous snakes, looking at all the other reptiles that they have here today. So hopefully there's some cool stuff. We're going to take a look, and who knows, maybe we'll end up leaving with a couple new animals. Let's see what they've got. So upon entering the show, we can see a whole bunch of these monocled cobras. These are one of the most commonly kept venomous snakes in the United States. Definitely the most common cobra species. Over here are some patternless rock rattlesnakes, which are kind of cool. You don't see those too much. But these monocled cobras come in many different morphs colors like ball pythons do. Some rattlesnakes over here. Lots and lots of rattlesnakes at these venomous snake expos. There's an angry western diamondback over there flicking his tail, flicking his tongue, having a good old time. But many different rattlesnake species, as you can see. And just over here, there is one king cobra at this show, which is kind of neat. Not something you see available all the time, that's for sure. Over here we have a bunch of jumping vipers, another neat little unique species you don't see a whole lot of. There's a rinkals right there. We already have one of those named Lucifer, so we're not going to be getting that for sure. Over here we have some Han San pit vipers. This is an endangered species and not one you see available too much, so that's pretty cool. And a Mexican pygmy rattlesnake just over here. We already have a pair, so we won't be getting this individual as we have no need for it. Finally, I came upon this guy who had a pair of soft-scaled vipers available. Now this is a snake I've been looking for quite a while, so I may have to get them. He also had some female versions of Steve, the spectacled cobra, another snake that I'm really considering getting today. Finishing off the interesting venomous snakes that were available are this pair of cantil vipers here, which are kind of cool. We already have a male ornate cantil back at the house, some rattlesnakes, puff adder right there, and some variable bush vipers, a nice orange phase and a beautiful dark phase there, alongside a Palestine viper. That is something you really don't see a whole lot of. There were some interesting normal people reptiles like this beautiful melanistic jeweled lacerda as well, and of course there were thousands upon thousands of ball pythons, which is what everybody seems to want, which is why their price is folding. Onto the crappy stuff like this caiman lizard, which looked like it was about to fall apart. He does not look very healthy, probably because he isn't. Just like this cow reticulated python, which was being sold by the same person. It had multiple injuries all over its body, including on the top of its head. I know I'm not spending $1,000 on a snake that looks like crap. On a better note, someone did have this super epic looking boa. I'm not much of a morph guy, but this boa constrictor was actually pretty freaking awesome looking. I've never seen one before. Someone also had what was probably the thickest corn snake I've ever seen. This snake is about as thick as my fist. There was also an egg-eating snake, which is a unique species of snake that predominantly eats eggs. It's actually insane looking. And some neat turtles too, like this Mata Mata. He's looking at me in a way that makes me extremely uncomfortable. The last neat reptiles at the show were these Tomasi uromastyx, a rare species of uromastyx that look absolutely freaking adorable. Look at those little guys grouped up on one another. Look how small and weird their heads are. There was also a stick dealer at the show with an amazing assortment of sticks. You know I had to get the biggest one he had available. My girlfriend couldn't hold herself back and decided to get a new pet hedgehog. All right, guys, we just got back from the Columbia Repticon, and now I know I wasn't really actually looking to buy anything there, but we did have a nice surprise when we got there, and there were actually some cool snakes available that I just could not say no to. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we just got. Now you guys can see that we have this container, and of course inside this container are the two new snakes that we added to our collection today. Was not expecting to get these, but we've been looking for them for quite a while. So let's go ahead and take this lid off, put it to the side, just like that. And let's take a look at these brand new snakes. Of course, this is the sauce-scaled viper, the deadliest snake on the entire planet in terms of yearly snake bite related fatalities. These guys are no joke despite their small size. People are quite frequently bitten by these. They have an extremely vast and wide range throughout most of the Eastern world, through North Africa, the Middle East, all the way down through India and other parts of that region. So they are very widespread, and they're found in a lot of rural areas and small villages and things like that, which leads to a lot of rural snake bites, which of course, when we're talking about a snake with as toxic and as powerful venom as these guys, most of those will relate in deaths. If not minor amputations and things like that. So definitely not a snake that you want to be bitten by. This does account for a pretty wide percentage of the total yearly snake bite related death counter. These guys, the Russell's viper, the Indian or spectacled cobra, and some of the crates altogether probably account for 70 or 80% of the total worldwide snake bite related death counter. So definitely not one of those snakes that you want to underestimate, but we got these new guys. We also got a new enclosure for them. It's a 4-foot enclosure with a divider. So one of them is going to go on each side. And then when we want to try to breed them, we can go ahead and open that divider up and then see if they'll breed for us. But that's not a now problem. That's a future problem. These guys are supposedly captive bred. I'm not so sure about that. I know they haven't been captive bred too frequently in the US, if I'm not mistaken. And this male over here is a little bit on the skinny side. Not bad at all considering how most of them look. Most of them are fresh imports and they look terrible. So these guys definitely don't look too bad, especially this female is in quite good health seemingly. So we're going to try and get them established if they're not already eating well. They seem like they should be eating well, at least the female. The male we may need to do a little work on, but hopefully he takes to living quite well, and we'll see how they do. But let's go ahead and get them all set up in their new enclosure. So we got this new enclosure for them. It's got a split in the middle. Let's go ahead and turn this light on. There we go. You can see it's got a panel in the middle to separate the two, and then we can just remove that split if we want to try and breed the pair of saw-scaled vipers in the future. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get them all set up now. So we went ahead and put down some paper towels in both of the saw-scaled viper enclosures just for the time being, so we can keep track of their health more easily, make sure they don't have mites or any other health issues that are going to be more easily observable due to them being on a sterile white surface such as these paper towels. Plus, these are more dry climatized snakes, so it'll be easy to make sure there's not too much humidity in here. We'll just have a small water bowl and a small hide for the time being. Make sure they're healthy, and then we'll get them set up on something a little bit nicer after that. So let's go ahead, let's add the hides, let's add the water bowls, and then let's put the snakes inside. So I thought I had more of these medium black hides, But unfortunately, all I have are these super tiny ones, so the other one is going to be getting this log hide, and then we have some sterile water dishes and a couple of sticks just to toss in there so that it's not just a completely open space otherwise. But let's go ahead and get these supplies in the enclosures, and then we'll get the snakes inside as well. God, it's so beautiful. Alrighty, top up the water. Boom. Another one. Boom. Alrighty, let's get this. I'm dying. Let's get the snakes in. Opening up the snake, yeah. What up? What up? Please don't kill me. You don't mind if I just pick you up, do you, Mrs. Saw-Scaled Viper? She's kind of pretty. You're kind of a pretty Saw-Scaled Viper, you know that? You're kind of pretty. Into the new enclosure. Very good. Very good. There you go. Look, there she is under some actual decent lighting. She's definitely a pretty one. Definitely prettier than the male, although he may need to shed, so maybe, just maybe, he'll get prettier too. Put that back over here. Put this back over here. All right, buddy. Your turn. All right, buddy. You're up. Let's go ahead and put you in your enclosure. Don't kill me, please. Look how good they're being. Honestly, Saw-Scaled Vipers, super overrated. Super easy to handle. Look at that. Look at that. Not too bad. But you can definitely tell he's definitely a little bit on the thinner side here. If you take a closer look at him, definitely a little bit thinner than the female. Honestly, he looks pretty under the light too. Not quite the same level of contrast as the female. Definitely a little skinnier, but hopefully we can get some food in him, get him hydrated, make sure he's doing good, make sure she's doing good, and yeah, hopefully they do well for us. Pretty neat snakes. Obviously one of the deadliest on the planet. Well, actually the single estimated deadliest on the planet, all in all, between the Saw-Scaled Viper species. But neat snakes for sure. Definitely happy to have them. I've been looking at getting at least one for a while now. I want to collect the big four from India. These guys are our third, although this species, I believe, is the Egyptian species. They're not technically the same species that's found in India, but close enough. We'll call it close enough. And if we round the red-headed crate to just the Indian crate, or whatever the crate species is from India that's a part of the big four, I always get them mixed up. There are so many crates over there. Then we have all four, but that's a lot of rounding, so I don't know if it counts. Probably doesn't, but I'm happy to have gotten these guys, and hopefully they do well for us. We'll do an update in the future, and hopefully they start eating and drinking and vibing and not killing me. Well, we got the Saw-Scaled Vipers all set up in their temporary enclosures. I mean, the closures themselves are going to be what they're in permanently, but obviously we're going to put them on proper substrate, get some more enrichment stuff in there and whatnot, make it look a little more naturalistic, a little bit better for them. This is just now to keep track of how they're doing more easily. Hopefully they do well for us, but I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. It was a fun show for sure. Some really cool snakes there. Some cooler stuff than I actually thought was going to be there. I did not expect to actually buy anything, but I'm happy that we did. Hopefully they do well for us, and I hope you guys have a good one. I'm going to leave now.